Mark,
Hey, Paul.
we're back. We're back, and you're surprised. All is right in the world.
Season 4, let's go.
Exactly. So we're going to talk about Gotham War, and we will do that right after this. Very smooth. Um, it is season 4 of DC Comics Deep Dive, and we are starting off with a brand new, kind of like a mini event. But before we get started on the Gotham War, make sure you hit the subscribe button, make sure you hit the like button, make sure you comment on this video because you never know what we're going to do at the end. And also, tell your friends. All about us. Tell us what you want us to read, and we will take a look at that. But we're going to start talking about the Gotham War, and it's weeks 1 and 2. So this is kind of a mini event that is happening in the Batman title proper and Catwoman title, as well as again, there's always bookends. So there'll be bookends, and there is also going to be a kind of a side little
Batman.
mini series that has to do with the Red Hood. So that's going to come along as well. So, but it all started with a cat. So it started with Gotham War. This is the first of the two bookends. This is the Gotham War battle lines, Batman, Catwoman, and I have to say, as
To give
many
it,
events go, it starts off pretty well.
I think it's important to give some respect on it, saying the actual working title is Batman, Catwoman, The Gotham War Battle Lines #1. That is the
Mhm.
longest title they could come up with.
Right. The title is almost as long as the event itself.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah, it is. But beautiful
but
cover by Jorge Jimenez, and yeah, it kicks off strong. Like I was like, great, a Batman event. I thought we weren't doing these for a while, but this is actually solid. So this is kicking off right where we kind of left Batman. Everything that's gone on in the last year is being taken into consideration, from dealing with Dark Crisis to dealing with the event that just wrapped up, Dark Crisis, Lazarus Planet, and uh, what was the new one called? Night Terrors that just wrapped
right
up. So
there.
at the end of Night Terrors, Batman fell out, exhausted, passed out. He was the only one left passed out. And we see him wake up in the beginning of this issue. He's been out for like 8 weeks. And in that time, a lot has happened. And those changes that have occurred is what is going to lead us to this Gotham War. He wakes up to find that crime is down across Gotham. We get introduced to a petty criminal talking to their kid and going out to pull some jobs. And it looks like what's going on is Catwoman has recruited all the henchmen, all the petty criminals that have worked for all these different villains along the way, and she is training them how to be proper cat burglars to maximize their profits and minimize the risk to themselves and other people. Before this issue gets over, Batman's woken up. He's seen what's going on, and Catwoman is made aware of the fact that Batman is awake. So she calls a no masks meeting. Catwoman is aware of all the identities of the Bat family as they're aware of her, and they go to meet her on her turf, and they're all sitting there, and she lays out and explains what she's been doing. And this is the part that shook me up as a reader. Everyone on the Bat family had to stop and think, like, there are a significant number of violent crimes down. Maybe she's onto something. And Batman in true form flips his lid. He's like, y'all are all crazy. Every one of y'all are crazy. We don't co-sign on crime. You're nuts. And they pretty much in the issue saying this isn't going to go well, looking at how it's all going to play out.
Right, and so we get a scene that's lifted right out of the last issue of Night Terrors, with Batman in the hospital bed. We found out the reason why he was the only one who had it was because the toll from Deadman being inside of him really kind of made him just collapse when Deadman left. And so in this mask meeting, basically Catwoman's idea is she is gathering up, as you said, all of the henchmen from all the different, from Two-Face and the Joker and the Penguin and whoever it happens to be. She's gathering them up because she convinces them that, you know what, you're just a nobody to all those other villains. Here's what's going to happen. For one, we're going to only steal from the rich. So she thinks she has this all figured out. We're going to only steal from the rich. Two, you're going to get to keep a piece of whatever you steal. And three, I
No
believe it was
killing.
15% of everything will go to some sort of will go to charities or whatever. So
And
that's
then
how
no
she figures
killing.
she's going to get Batman on her side. And to your point, Batman's like, okay, so you can't just say one crime is okay and another crime is not.
Yeah, and the Bat family was sitting there debating it, and he wasn't having none of it. And the issue did take a turn. We revisit that petty criminal that we see earlier talking to his kid, attempting to do one of these trained heists that Catwoman set him up for, and he loses his life doing it. The
Hmm.
mark was home, and it goes bad, and he dies. And Batman sees this, and it fires
Right.
him up, and that leads us.
Exactly. To the point where we actually see possibly the return of Zur-En-Ah at the end of the issue. Suddenly, he is starting to hear these voices again from Zur-En-Ah. There's a scene with Renee Montoya in here as well. You know that is important to what's going on. There is that scene where you said where the person thinks that the penthouse is going to be empty, but the person who was supposed to leave is still there. So when the henchman goes in to steal, he thinks it's empty. It's going to be one of these routine things. He gets shot and killed. So now we have our first death, and that just sets Batman
Not
off the deep
and
end
even
so
the
far.
fact that it's one of the bad guys, it's one of the robbers. He's not okay with that.
Right.
This is not an acceptable little option here. And the Zeranaw thing is pretty important because if we've been following along with Chip Zdarsky's stuff, it's been a reoccurring element. This subconscious Batman that he created, this ultimate pure Batman that he created, is properly contained in his psyche. At least Bruce thinks it is. It's clearly not. It's clearly pulling some strings here. And what I fear is going to happen for the greater good here is that Zeranaw is going to come out to play, but not like be presenting like he is. He's going to be in control, but allowing Bruce to think that he's still in control. But that's what it's looking like they're teasing, in my opinion.
Right. So the series is co-written by Chip Zdarsky and Teenie Howard, who are the two people that write the Batman and the Catwoman titles proper. This issue was drawn by Mike Hawthorne, who does a fantastic job, I think. He really he has some very clean lines. It really is. There's some things that go on with the Red Hood that I'm sure will carry over into his miniseries, as well as he'll have another thing that'll come up in the Batman number 137, which was the next chapter of the Gotham War.
And you can tell from the cover, Batman's coming for him. And this issue takes off running. Batman is all gas, no brakes, 100 miles an hour, hitting the city, doing everything he can to catch and shut down every single one of these cat burglars. He's having fantastic success rate doing it. And at one point early on in the book, Tim Drake crosses paths with him just on patrol, and he pretty much tells Tim, if you're here to stop me, back off or I'll put you down.
Mm-hmm.
He's got no time or patience for the Bat family to be entertaining this idea of what Catwoman's got going on. And Catwoman is feeling the pressure too. So she pulls in her plan. She felt out the room. She saw that Jason was feeling her idea. He spoke up and everything. So they reach out to Jason and they get him on their side with the whole thing. And as this is progressing, Batman's looking to shut him down, and they keep the henchmen and the robbers are reporting to Catwoman like, "Yo, we're getting shut down. What gives?" So she's like, "I got to do something." So she tries to plan a diversion and go out and try to catch Batman's attention and everything, and he doesn't fall for it. He goes straight to her home base of operations, busts it up, starts dropping them like flies, and then Red Hood shows up, and Red Hood wants to fight with him, and then the whole Bat family shows up and they think that they need to intervene. Batman's going too hard. We need to stop him from shutting them down. We need to have a discussion about this. We need to figure this out. So it becomes an entire fight against Batman and the Bat family. And there's a really interesting part through this where he knows them. They're nothing to him, but they're getting some licks in on him, and it's addressing the fact that he is getting a little bit older. That's becoming a
Mm-hmm.
reoccurring thing. Like Batman is aging in books right now. And when it looks like all hope might be lost, none other than the first son comes rocking in, and Damien comes in and knocks the piss out of Red Hood, just drops him like
Mm-hmm.
a bad habit and gets his dad and gets out of there. So we are now starting to see battle lines being drawn. Red Hood is definitely on Team Catwoman with this. Damien ain't having none of this, and he's got his dad. So where the rest of the Bat family is going to fall, it's still yet to be determined. But right now, they're all looking like a bunch of idiots, if you ask me.
Right. And so Batman, at the end of the story, he is off. He is having another internal dialogue with Zira-Nah. We find out he goes back to Wayne Manor, and out of nowhere, we find out that he doesn't own Wayne Manor anymore. And who owns Wayne Manor but Vandal Savage? And that's
Yeah.
where the issue ends. We get Vandal Savage saying, "I now own Wayne Manor. I presume you're Bruce Wayne." When he sees Batman.
Yeah, that was a weird twist. I did not see Vandal Savage being brought into this at all. It wasn't very long ago. He was lightly being tied into the backstory stuff in Detective Comics with what Ron V's doing. But it's
Mhm.
interesting to see him here now and how he's going to add into any of this whatsoever.
Right, and Batman's internal dialogue with Zero we're led to believe that he's still kind of controlling him. He's got him under control. He says, "I'm in a cage. I'm in a cage," but you know what? Um, he doesn't really like
Yeah,
being in a
it
cage
was
for too long.
fantastic paneling because Zernon's there on top of him talking to him. He's like, you need to back off. You're in a cage." He's like, "You're right, I am." And he just backs up in a
Mhm.
cage. Just happens. He's like, "Yeah, sure, I'm in a cage. If you think that, sure."
Yeah,
He's
exactly.
definitely playing games with him.
Right. Yeah, exactly. Because if this was a sitcom, the next thing would have been, "Don't patronize me."
Yeah, exactly.
That's exactly what he was doing. But yeah,
But I
I
gotta
think it
tell
was.
you, like, all in all, yeah, go ahead.
Go ahead. No, go
I
ahead.
was gonna say, all in all, I wasn't like, I don't know what it is lately. I haven't been stoked about a lot of these events just on the face, on the announcement, but the execution was good. The pacing was fantastic. There was a well balanced story with the Catwoman stuff that I typically don't care about, and I still don't care about it, to be honest with you. But it doesn't take away from anything from the story. It's adding to the Batman aspect of it that I really enjoy so much, and it makes me want to shake the Bat family for being so stupid right now. But
Mhm.
hey, they're young and dumb.
Yeah, exactly. And so, I mean, for me, the price of admission alone is the no mask meeting. To me, that was just an incredible scene with all of them. And the way Catwoman just kind of throws everything she basically just turns it around and throws it almost all back in their faces.
Yeah, she was
Um,
proud of herself. She was
right,
proud of what she
exactly.
accomplished. She legitimately thought, like, look, let reason win here, guys. Like this is the option. Like, what have we really done to correct Gotham? Nothing. This is actually helping it. But like, no, man. Batman went full Rorschach, never wavered, not even in the face of certain Armageddon.
Right, exactly, exactly. And then, like you said, the Batman issue was solid as well. It's scheduled to continue, not this week, but next week in the next Catwoman issue, and then the week after that we'll have the first Red Hood issue as well. So
And don't forget, Batman Day is coming up. Like just like we have local comic shop day, free comic book day, we have a Batman Day where shops will have special promotional stuff for free for shoppers that come in. The shops do pay for them, so get out there, support your shop. There will be a Batman, Catwoman, Gotham War free book that day.
yes, and it will have a prelude that is not in any that we haven't seen yet. So it will have new material in it. There is also going to be, me and my foils. There will be a foil version of of Batman number 607, the Jim Lee one with Batman standing on the gargoyle. That's kind of a companion piece that he's doing with the Superman number 6, I think it is. That has a Superman one. And there is, I believe, a new collection of Batman '89 that is supposed to have a foil dust jacket as well,
So
a
much
collector's version of
foil.
it. What's that?
So much foil. The future's
I know.
bright.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So to your point, it is scheduled for this Saturday, the 16th, is Batman Day. So yeah, go out and support your local comic shop. Um, but that's going to be it for this edition of DC Comics Deep Dive. Just a quick thing to come in and tell you about Gotham War. Go out and get it. You got plenty of time. If you're watching this on Monday, you can actually win the Gotham War Battle Lines issue on Guess That Key coming up this Wednesday night. So join us for that.
Don't
So
forget to hit that thumbs up, subscribe to the channel, head to the cbcawards.org and vote for this guy. Guess that key is a finalist in the awards and leave a comment below. Let us know what you thought of these first couple issues of the Gotham War.
absolutely. So thank you. That's going to be it. I am Paul. He is. I pointed the wrong way. He is Mark,
But we are Legion.
and you are now leaving Sector 2815.